It's time to fire this thing up.
Welcome aboard ShipShape TV Essentials. This is your port of call for the most impactful upgrades, expert advice, and hands-on solutions from seasons past. This episode is proudly brought to you by SureHold, because anything worth doing is worth doing bright. From cleaning to protecting and perfecting, SureHold has everything you need to keep your boat shining. Don't just go boating, go showboating. Now, let's hoist anchor and set a course for another exciting episode of ShipShape TV Essentials.
If boating's your game, then you'll agree. ShipShape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the sea, ShipShape means trouble-free. ShipShape means being neater. ShipShape makes boat work easier. ShipShape is the way to go. The ShipShape Boat Care Show.
ShipShape, South Florida's only boat improvement show, is being brought to you in part by Boat Owners Warehouse, Everything Marine, and by Cable Marine, where our qualified people make the difference, and by RPM Diesel Engine Company, much more than an engine company, and by Yacht Interiors by Shelley. When extra is needed, extra is given.
Thanks for tuning in to ShipShape, the Boat Improvement Show. I'm John Greviskis, and this is my partner, Burt Down.
Howdy, folks.
We're on location today in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at Atlantic Boat Lifts Incorporated.
Today we're going to be taking a close look at davits, marine elevators, and cradle lifts.
If you're in the market for one of these products, today's show is absolutely invaluable. Or if you currently have a boat lift, you may want to stick around because we're going to show you some maintenance tips as well as some safety precautions.
One of the things we do here at ShipShape is try to get you, the audience, involved. So if you have an idea for a show, drop us a line or send us a fax.
Write your project suggestions to ShipShape, the TV show. Attention Project Director, Post Office Box 31561, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida 33420. Or fax us at area code 407-626-4348.
And if we use your suggestion on the show, you'll receive an official ShipShape t-shirt. But right now, we need to hear a word from our sponsors. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Don't float away. ShipShape will be right back.
No more frozen snaps and zippers with the SureHold Snap Stick. The easy-to-apply wax is specifically designed to lubricate snaps, zippers, and other mechanical fasteners that are susceptible to corrosion. Add protection and lubricate valuable parts in just a matter of seconds. Stop fighting with snaps and zippers and add a quick dab of water-resistant SureHold Snap Stick. SureHold, clean and simple.
I'd like to introduce you to Bob Stewart, the president of Atlantic Boat Lift. Bob, thanks so much for having us out today.
John, thank you for coming. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Bob, the reason we're out here today is we want to kind of gather some information on boat lifts. I was wondering if you could tell me how many different lifts are available to the consumer.
Absolutely. That's our business. First, we've been in business 27 years, and we're a full-line manufacturer of boat lifting equipment, starting with davits, marine elevators, and marine cradle lifts.
Okay.
Davits being your most economical way to lift your boat. And we start out with our smallest davit, which is an 800-pound davit, which is very popular today with wave runners, jet skis, or personal watercraft.
And that means that it can lift 800 pounds?
Up to 800 pounds.
Okay.
And they can seawall mounted or piling mounted, and it's pretty easy. So that's where we start. Then we go to the next size, there are 15 and 2,500 pound davits, which a single davit will lift up to about a 13-foot, just for comparison, like a Boston whaler.
Okay.
All right, and those are very popular. And those come manual or electric also. Then the next davits we have are, we go to like 4,000 pounds, 6,000, 8,000, maximum 10,000 pounds to lift with davits.
Okay.
It's all based on how far apart your davits are, what kind of boat you have, but basically up to 10,000 pounds is the maximum you can lift on davits.
10,000 pounds, and give me a rough guesstimate on boat size on that.
Okay, well you need about a 27-foot boat.
Okay.
is about the maximum you really want to lift on davits.
So a real consideration is, you know, if you're looking for a boat lift, davits might be the way to go. If you have a boat 27 foot or under 10,000 pounds.
Right. But you also have to remember, when you get to certain sizes on davits, you're going to need foundations, which is called davit pad foundations,
Okay.
concrete. So
Now,
you have
how
to-
involved is that?
Well, there's about 3 yards of concrete per foundation. It has to be dug down, reinforcing rods put in, and concrete poured with J-bolts and paraphernalia to hold the davits down. Okay?
Well, that sounds pretty technical.
Not really.
Okay.
It's pretty easy. It just takes some labor. There's
I've
a
got
lot
you.
of labor involved. Okay.
Now,
All right.
if you have a boat larger than 10,000 pounds or 27 foot, what do you go to?
Okay. Then the next step from there would be a marine elevator,
Okay.
which also then has a weight limit, or then a marine cradle lift.
Well, let's talk about the elevator. What kind of weight restrictions would you have on them?
Okay. Marine elevator, we can lift up to 14,000 pounds, depending on the foundation. The length has nothing to do with it. It's all based on weight. The boat
Okay.
could be 50 feet as long as it's under 14,000 pounds.
So
It'll
what you're
work.
telling me is the elevator is mounted to either a seawall or to the pilings or something like that?
That's
Is that
correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Okay. You can mount it to seawall, pilings, or again pads like we had for davits. We could pour those pads that'll support an elevator also.
Wait,
But
what are we
maximum
talking
is
about?
14,000 pounds.
14,000 pounds,
Right.
which would equate to roughly what size boat?
Oh God, you could go. We've 35, 40-foot boat.
Okay, great.
Right.
Now we get into cradles, and talk to me a little bit about cradles,
Okay.
Bob.
Cradle lift is a freestanding lift. It's put on either 4 piles, 6 pilings, or 8 pilings, depending on the size. It has nothing to do with attaching to your seawall, dock, or anything. So there's no stress on your seawall or any part of your home or whatever you're concerned
So when you're
about.
talking about a davit or a marine elevator, this is all attached to one side. It's a
right,
one-side
right,
system.
Right.
When you get into a cradle, it's a two-side system which spreads out the weight load. Is that
Right,
correct?
right, and it's freestanding. In other words,
Okay.
the lift operates on the 4 pilings or 6 or 8, whatever we're going to use there. Nothing's attached to
I've got you.
anything else.
I've
Okay?
got you.
That way, you're not limited to weight. That we could lift whatever your imagination wants to lift.
Let's talk price. If somebody's considering davits, average davit for, say, a 2, 3, 4,000 pound capacity.
All
What are
right.
we talking about?
Well, we started out, let's say our jet ski lift. Manual 800-pound lift is $400.
It's very inexpensive.
Very reasonable.
Okay.
All right. Up to about $3,500 for our biggest davits we make. That's just
Okay.
for the davits. Now, if you
Okay.
need extra work, obviously that's going to cost extra.
Now, you're talking about the
concrete pads.
okay, all of
Right,
that. All
right.
right. Now, what about the elevators?
Elevators start at our 3,000-pound capacity elevators around $3,400.
Okay.
Okay, and they can go up to 10,000 pounds. $10,000.
$10,000,
Right,
okay.
for 14,000 pounds.
So there's quite a price jump from
Yeah.
davits to marine
Oh, yeah.
elevator.
Yeah, but there's more on a marine elevator.
Understood.
Right.
Understood. Now, on the marine elevator, let's compare price from marine elevator to cradle lift.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
Now, size for size, a marine cradle lift is less money than an elevator.
Really?
Yes.
Now, why is
Okay,
that?
well, there's fewer parts on it, believe it or
Gotcha.
not. It's fewer parts. It's
Okay.
easier to make. The difference is, though, by the time you add the pilings that you have to add for here, the prices come out about the same.
In a perfect world, what would you have personally? What would you have? Would you choose a davit? Would you choose a marine elevator or a cradle lift?
If my boat was under 14,000 pounds, I would definitely have an elevator.
Okay. We need to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to head on downstairs and look into some fabrication to see how these lifts are actually put together.
Don't sail away. ShipShape will be right back.
Do it all with a SureHold telescoping handle. Designed with the easy-to-use SureLock quick release system, compatible with over 50 different attachments, transforming it into a deck brush handle, squeegee handle, swivel pad base handle, chamois mop handle, camera handle, floor broom handle, boat hook handle, water blade handle, landing net handle, even a threaded handle for equipment you already own, and more. Fully telescopic for easy storage or adjusting to the perfect length. Each SureHold telescoping handle is proudly made in the USA and is truly The one handle that does it all. Surehold. Clean and simple.
Now, Bob, you use several different types of metals when you're fabricating these lifts. What do you use?
A choice of metals is obviously steel, which is hot dip galvanized steel, which is a separate process from what we do here. Okay.
Can you kind of take us through the process of hot dip galvanized steel?
Absolutely. Okay. After the product is finished here, it's shipped off to a galvanizing plant. There they dip it in acid. Acid, about 2 days in acid, which takes all the rust or any imperfections in the steel off. Then it's dipped into the zinc, and it's actually hot dipped is what it's called. It's 850 degrees zinc. It's left in there until that zinc adheres to the steel. Then it's taken out and cooled off. It takes about a 2-day process.
So the zinc is the sacrificial metal.
Absolutely.
You know, kind of like
steel.
the trim taps on your motor, the same thing. We're using zinc on the hot dip galvanized steel. Okay,
Absolutely.
okay, great.
And if maintained properly, whatever does go in the water in galvanized steel will last many, many, many years.
Life expectancy?
Average 10 years.
Okay.
With proper maintenance.
Now on the elevators, that's pretty much the only lift that goes into the water.
Into the water.
Into the
right,
water.
Right.
So the davits and on the cradle lifts, that's a little bit different.
Davits will last forever. Only parts will go, cables, switches, or whatever. But the actual steel should last a lifetime. Same thing on a cradle lift, basically.
Let's go into the steps involved in manufacturing a lift. What's the first step that we do?
Well, the first step is when we get an order, we order the steel, if it's not already in our yard, and permit is pulled for the job. Drawings are made. From these drawings, then we lay out a plan.
Okay.
It's brought in here onto our saw. This is the first step here. All the steel
What kind of saw is this?
brought into a saw. This is just an automatic vertical saw that'll saw any piece of steel we have in this shop.
Well, let's take a look.
Okay, fine.
So Bob, once the steel is cut, it's brought over to this welding station.
Correct.
And it's all put together.
Right. This station's my #1 station. This is where the cradle lifts are built and our davits are built. Then I have station 2, station 3, and station 4. Each one has its own function. But what he's doing here now is finishing the bottom of the cradle lift that we're cutting the top for that you saw in the saw over there.
I've got you. So once this is all put together, it's taken outside, picked up, and then it gets hot dip galvanized.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Right.
great.
And they pick up, we got about a week's process back and forth.
So Bob, once the metal comes back from the factory where they hot dip galvanize it, what's the process involved in putting this whole thing together?
Okay, John, as you see here, this is a 20,000-pound cradle lift. It's ready to be installed. We're just waiting for permits to be approved. But what we're doing here is when it comes back, none of this is on here. We set it on our own stands, and we start to assemble the lift here. What you're looking at, though, is this is one lift. When it's installed, that other beam will be maybe 17 or 18 feet away from this. These will be installed on 4 concrete pilings.
Okay.
The first step, though, we get it back, is to assemble the drive shaft system, which includes these pillow blocks. These are bearings that are self-greased from the factory. You have little roller bearings inside, but it has a grease fitting here for future maintenance, okay? There's 5 of these on each side, so there's 10 of these. From here, this pipe or drive shaft is put in.
Right.
This is a double pipe. There's a pipe inside this pipe to give it real thickness.
Now this
so it
too
won't
is
bend.
also hot dip galvanized, is that correct?
Everything you see here is either hot dip galvanized steel or stainless steel.
I've got you.
Okay?
I've got you.
All right. Now, from there, we come up to here and we assemble our gearbox. This is a 50-to-1 ratio gearbox.
Wow.
What this does for us is it makes it go fast here, come out slow here.
Sure,
You
sure.
want a lift to work slow so that when it's lifting that heavy boat, everything is working properly, okay? From there, we add the motor.
Now what kind of motor do you guys use?
This is a 2-horsepower fan-cooled motor. This is no maintenance on this motor. They're all self-sealed except they're fan-cooled. We use the largest motors per lift in the industry. We go up to 3-horsepower motors.
So just depending on the size of your boat, that's the size of motor that you're going to have.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So this lift has two 2-horsepower motors, makes it 4.
So 4 horsepower lift.
Right.
Okay.
And one thing, we're the only people that put our motor and gearbox in the center of this unit. Reason for that, it's like a car differential. You get the same torque when this comes out on both sides right here.
That makes sense.
That's what we believe in, and we've been doing this for years.
What's the next step after we have this attached?
After we have all this attached, then we take our cables, which have been already pre-cut in the right length, and we wind our cables on that drive shaft, on cable guides. See those groove cable guide system? Keeps the cables nice and even going back and forth.
Well, Bob, it looks like most of the work's done right here on the premise.
Absolutely. We try to do as much as we can here. Should something need to be done, obviously we have the wherewithal here to do it rather than on the job. But it's a lot easier when you're going on the job just to be able to set this up. The least amount of work there is better.
So when this is out on the job site, you bring in the cranes. Now, do you use a barge to help coordinate it and on installation?
Absolutely. What we try to do is when the pilings are going in, we coordinate everything that day. And we meet the barge out there. When he's putting in the pilings, the first 2 pilings, then we can lift our equipment onto those pilings. Then he'll do 2 more pilings and we'll lift this on there. It needs a crane to lift this.
Bob, you're one of the few manufacturers that services what you sell. Why is that important to the consumer?
Okay, after, like I said before, we've been in business 27 years, and our experience tells us that everybody's equipment, including ours, is going to need some service eventually. Something's going to go wrong, okay? And we believe, and we stand behind our equipment, and we just believe in service as the to prevent future major problems, as to little maintenance ahead. So
well, you have one of the best reputations in the business.
Thank you very much.
Speaking of service, let's head on out to the project site and take a look at some maintenance tips and some safety tips when working around a boat lift.
John, we're out here at a customer's house that we have a maintenance contract with that we're doing work right now. But if you don't have a contract, you want to do it yourself, there's a few easy steps to follow. First thing is always check your chain.
Okay.
If it looks like it's rusted out or dried out, you want to get some white lithium grease, put it on with your finger, make sure nothing is working, and just put it on very smoothly with your finger.
So make sure the chain's not moving when you're
Absolutely.
applying that.
Next thing you want to check is your cable for fraying or rusting.
These look like they're in great shape.
These cables are fine. What we're doing here is just going to change out his shivs, which are pulleys, to stainless steel. These have an oil-impregnated bushing inside. This is something else that when the lift is up, you want to take some WD-40 oil and just spray all the moving parts that you can with this.
Okay, that's good advice.
Right. The one advantage that our lifts have is we use a double cable system on all the corners on our big lifts. God forbid a cable should break. This lift's not going to go down the other
Now, I know
cables
somebody
supported.
that happened on. They were working underneath the boat with the lift up, and a cable did snap, and it fell on them. So that is serious. I mean, you don't want to do that.
Well, we also have a safety sticker here that tells you do not work under the boat, do not lift people in the boat, so on and so on.
But you have a double cable system that will alleviate that problem.
Absolutely. On all our lifts, 16,000 pounds and up, we use a double cable system.
Well, Bob, you really build these things right, and I can't thank you for all the information, and especially for being on the show.
John, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Bob.
It's been my pleasure.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Don't drift off. ShipShape will be right back.
The SureHold One Bucket System is your storage and detailing solution. Featuring an ergonomic corrosion-free rope handle, a bucket caddy to organize your supplies and lift them out with ease, a bucket grate to elevate your wash tools out of dirty water with integrated soap measuring cups, a bucket base that won't let your bucket scratch, tip, or slip, and a bucket lid that keeps tools secure and doubles as a comfortable seat. The SureHold One Bucket System, the world's best rope handle 5-gallon bucket. SureHold, clean and simple.
Chapman's Corner is brought to you by Chapman School of Seamanship.
Today on Chapman's Corner, we want to take a look at the oil pollution placket. This placket is required to be on board all vessels 26 feet and greater in length. And basically, it just spells out the rules and regulations set forth by the federal government on polluting navigable waters. This particular placket talks about polluting the navigable waters of the United States, and in particular, it talks about oil. In the case of most power vessels, we know we're going to have some oil in our bilges. Well, we don't want that oil to get pumped out over the side. If we do, we're going to leave a visible sheen. That visible sheen is considered pollution, and you can be fined for that. the fines can be as great as $25,000. So next time, before you get underway, make sure if you're over 26 feet in length that you have this placket on board. From Chapman School of Seamanship, this is Tom Dante.
With me again today is Gary Oviatt of Oviatt Marine in Fort Lauderdale. Gary, you're a full-service yacht broker, which means that people come to you in search of the boat that they're looking for, as well as people trying to sell their boats through you. But you carry one particular line specifically. What is that?
That's a line of DeFever offshore cruisers. And DeFevers have a special place in my heart. The owners are lifestyle cruisers. They live aboard their vessels. They cruise long distances, and because of this, the vessels are very self-sufficient and have long range capabilities.
Now, what's the boat that we're going to look at today?
Today, we're going to look at a 60-foot DeFever called Dulcinea.
And Joel's going to give us the walkthrough?
That's right. It's Joel's listing.
Let's head on board and take a look.
John, this is one of my listings. It's a 1981 60-foot DeFever in absolutely beautiful condition. And this particular vessel is one of only 16 that were built, designed by Arthur DeFever, although he has designed and built thousands of ships to people's specifications. And this particular vessel is probably one of the best seaworthy boats that you could buy and live aboard. It has tremendous accommodation, 4 staterooms, a king master aft and 3 staterooms forward, a very large walk-around engine room, walk-around decks, very large main salon, a totally updated galley, a substantial wheelhouse that's comfortable, and you could just sit there all day and let that autopilot go for you and let the boat go.
It's beautiful.
It's incredible.
Joel, what's the boat powered by?
Well, the boat has twin 250 horsepower Caterpillar diesels, which give her a range of about 2,500 miles. She only burns 10.7 gallons at her cruise speed, and so it makes for really incredibly economical cruising.
So this is truly a long-range cruiser.
Oh yeah, she really could, you could probably take this vessel across the Atlantic if you wanted to do that, and you could do it in comfort as well. She's stabilized. All of the machinery on board the boat has been updated and taken care of. Really, the owners have done $150,000, $160,000 refurbish to the boat just in the last 2 years. So it's a boat that we could take out right now and be very happy with.
Well, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. When we're talking about this boat, Joel, what are some other amenities that it comes with?
Well, I mean, the interior woodwork on the boat is absolutely beautiful. The varnished handrails, a huge upper flybridge area. I mean, you could probably have 40 or 50 people just up on the upper flybridge area if you decided to have a party.
Sure.
I mean, it's really as large as some people's homes. It's very stable, and you know, I can't see why anyone wouldn't love to just have this vessel.
What's the type of person that would buy this boat, Joel?
Well, typically you have an experienced boat owner who's moved up from smaller vessels, who wants something that he can be just very comfortable on board, have lots of space, be able to entertain his guests, and also something that won't depreciate in value. Because this vessel, which was originally built in the early 80s, would cost well over $1.1 million or $1.2 million to reproduce, and it can be purchased for somewhere around 40 to 50% of that replacement value.
Joel, she's lovely. Well, Gary, this is one exciting boat. Now, is this boat listed in your Offshore Cruiser magazine?
Yes, it's featured in the magazine with full specifications and a description of the boat.
How many other boats are in the magazine, Gary?
There are hundreds. I haven't really counted them.
Okay. Now, how can somebody get this?
If they would call my office, we'll be happy to put them on our mailing list.
Well, Gary, thanks so much for having us out today. Until next week, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Don't pull up anchor. ShipShape's coming right back.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. I hope you learned something about boat lifts.
And be sure to tune in next week when we check out the DeFever Rendezvous in Marathon Key.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
If boating's your game, then you'll agree. Ship shape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the sea, ship shape means trouble-free. Ship shape means Ship shape makes boat work easier. Ship shape is the way to go. The Ship Shape Boat Gear Show.